My name's Marian Quinn and I work with CDI, the Childhood Development Initiative, and I'm going to talk to you just for a few minutes about writing skills. Writing skills obviously are a core part of the Doodle Den programme, and what the teachers and facilitators have told us about them is that the children really do well. They demonstrate good gains over the year. You can see the improvement in their writing, but also really importantly, children really enjoy the work. They love doing the writing. So some of the specific writing skills that we cover in Doodle Den are about forming letters. So how do children actually learn to write letters? So we do things like writing in the air or using shaving foam to spray, and also sand letters, so writing in the sand. So lots of different ways for children to get used to writing and forming the letters. There's also a good writer's chart in the Doodle Den manual. So each group of children would have a chart, and that breaks down the different components of what it is to be a good writer. So that's things like using capital letters at the start of a sentence and ending each sentence with a punctuation mark with a full stop. So the children get to see from that chart each time they're in Doodle Den what elements of writing they're able to now incorporate into their work. During the course of Doodle Den and over the year that the children are taking part in the programme, they do both shared and independent writing. So at the beginning of the programme particularly, children will work in small groups. So they'll write stories together, they'll sit and talk through ideas and think about what might form the story, how will they put a story together. And as the year goes on and the children grow in their confidence and in their ability, they do more independent writing, so they'll work much more on their own. And they really enjoy doing that. One of the things the children love is sitting in the author's chair. So when children have written a story, the facilitators will invite 2 or 3 of the children to come up and tell the other children about what they've written, to explain the story and tell the others how they came up with it. So that's their opportunity to show off and to be the author. As with everything in Doodle Den, it's really important to differentiate the work. Children are all different, as we know, and so some will have strengths that others don't have, and so we need to ensure that the work is actually thought through and differentiated for each of the individual children. It's really important that children succeed while they're here and that they continue to enjoy it, so ensuring that the children are able to participate is important, but that's covered in another part of this DVD. Children like to see their work displayed, we all know that, so making sure there's space in the room for some of the work to go up on the walls is really important, or having their books and their scrapbooks together, also really important. And you may well have gathered by now that Doodle Den is a busy programme. It's really full on for everybody, and for the facilitators that does mean that you need to manage your time. I think as people have delivered the programme over a couple of years, they get more used to that. But certainly for new facilitators, I think one of the things that we hear a lot about is how they need to be really well prepared. They really need to have the work done in advance of the group. So things like having all your copies done of your worksheets and being very clear about what role each of the 2 facilitators is taking on, that's really important because there's a lot to manage, and that is actually part of the programme, is that children can constantly move between the different centres and doing different activities. So it's easier for the facilitators to manage all of that if you're well prepared. So another part of managing the time is to ensure that everybody's aware when we're coming towards the end of an activity and indeed the end of a session. So doing a countdown out loud, letting everybody know how long we've got left before we move into a different activity or before the session finishes today is important. Obviously not just for the facilitators, but then it means that the children know how long they have left to finish a particular activity. Modelling writing is really useful for children, particularly when you're putting a story together. So one of the things that the facilitators often do is they'll break down a story. So they might explain to a child, you can come up with a theme for a story. So we might want to write about our holidays or about the beach. And then the modelling is where you talk out loud how you come up with your ideas. So I'm going to write about the beach. So what do I think about when I think about the beach? I think about the sea and it's free freezing. So I might write about how my feet get really cold, or I might think about the sand and how it's really hot on my feet, but it gets all itchy between my toes. So you talk it all out, and children will contribute, but what you're actually doing is modelling for the children the process of beginning to map what goes into a story. Throughout all of this, it's really important that the confidence of the children is the key focus. We want children to enjoy studying, we want them to enjoy learning, and we want them to go away feeling that they've done a great job. So ensure that children get an opportunity to finish something. Don't put too much pressure on them. It doesn't matter if not everything's right. What's really important is that they go away feeling that they've achieved something and that they've had fun.